So we're going to be making caramel sauce today. This is going to be the wet method. So for the ingredients you're going to need sugar, water, cream, lemon juice, and butter. And the equipment, you're going to need 2 pots, a spatula, a bowl and a strainer, and a container of water and a brush. So we're going to start off by heating up our cream and butter. Just until all of that butter is melted. It's really important to make sure that at this step, both the butter and the cream are warm, because if you're adding any cold liquid into your sugar, it can seize it. So we're gonna avoid that by heating it all up beforehand. Okay, now that our cream and butter are completely warmed up, we're gonna set that off to the side. And we're gonna start on cooking the sugar. So what you're gonna wanna do first is add in the water. And then put the sugar on top of that. So you want to make sure that all of the sugar is completely soaked and wet when you're adding it into here. And then try to avoid getting the sugar on the sides of the pan. We're going to turn that up. And I like to shake it just a little bit to make sure that all of that sugar is getting wet. And you can use your spatula and move it around just a bit. Now at this step, if you do get a little bit of sugar on the sides of the pot, that's okay. You can take your brush and water and wash the sides of the pot. But make sure that the brush doesn't hit the sugar and drag it around the pot. You're just going to clean up the edges. And now we wait for that to cook. So at this point, we are waiting for all of the water to evaporate out of the pot before the sugar can actually start cooking down and getting color. At this point, when it starts to boil a little bit, is when you can add a couple drops of lemon juice. This is going to help prevent crystallizing of the sugar and result in a smoother caramel sauce. At this point, most of the water should be cooked out of the sugar and it should begin to caramelize. Another important thing that we don't want to do is move the pan around. That will lead to sugar getting around the edge of the pan, which can cause it to crystallize. If your sugar bubbles are bubbling up way too much, you can, once again, use the brush and just slightly brush down the sides. In this case, it's not too bad, but as you can see, the color of the sugar is starting to change. When this starts happening, your sugar can go dark very quickly, so you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on it once it gets to this stage. So we're trying to look for a very deep amber golden brown. If you're uncomfortable with assessing the color of the caramel, you can temp it. The ideal temperature is going to be around 345 degrees. So this is just about at 300, so we're not quite there yet. So our caramel is now at 345 degrees. We're going to turn off the heat and slowly add in our warm cream a little bit at a time. It will bubble up, and that is okay, so that's why we're going to slowly add it in. This is going to stop the sugar from cooking. bubble up some more, so just be careful. You want to make sure all of the sugar and cream and butter is incorporated together. And at this point, you're gonna want to get your bowl, the strainer, and strain the caramel. This is gonna ensure that any sugar crystals or chunks or anything are not in there. Nice and smooth caramel. So yeah, that's how you make caramel sauce.